Welcome everyone to my channel. I'm Jim and this is Jim Reads Too Slow. And I am going to do a book tag. This will be Josh's Spice book tag. The 30th book tag originated by Josh at the Literary Gladiators. And I was tagged by Josh himself. So I want to thank him for that. And I'll leave a link to his channel below. So let's get started. But first, I want to wish everyone a happy Burns night. Is that done? I'm going to do it. So, Slàinte. Oh yeah. Okay, let's start. The first question: salt. If you were an English teacher, what would you teach to add an engaging taste to your class? Just speaking from my own experience, as I remember a little bit about high school, humor was in short supply. Uh, I don't remember much of my English classes, with a few exceptions, being very fun. And those that were, I remember well. I love the teachers to this day, and I think those are the ones that I got the most out of. Currently, for example, I'm reading Wise Blood by Flannery O'Connor. And there are parts of that book that are just laugh out loud funny. If I'd suspected that it was this good, I would have read it in college when I was supposed to. Other than just BSing my way through that class. But anyway, taking into account the humor and using the humor rather than little punctuation points throughout the class as a major part of the class, I think could go a long way. Number 2, black pepper, a classic that leaves a lingering aftertaste. Is The Godfather by Mario Puzo a classic? I probably should not have read that book when I did, which is probably why parts of it still linger with me. But to be on the safe side, I'll say As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner. That's a book that I read last year, and I found it to be, well, let's just say going in, all I knew about it was My Mother's a Fish. It's another book that's very funny in parts, very serious in parts overall, but it's very enjoyable. Crushed Red Pepper, a writer that fires you up. Well, in a positive way, I would say Ursula K. Le Guin. I discovered the Dispossessed back in college after being heavily influenced by an anarchist linguistics professor that I really thought highly of. And I loved that book. And I was incredibly satisfied to find out that she had some other stuff out there too. Number 4, Paprika, a writer who can be both mild and intense with their writing. J.R.R. Tolkien in Lord of the Rings can definitely run the gamut. Also, Chronicle of a Death Foretold by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, him in general, but that book particularly went from 0 to 80 pretty quick. So that's another one that lingers too. So anyway, number 5, Nutmeg, a genre or category of writing that is great in slight amounts, but overwhelming when overdone. Now I'm going to answer this for me, understand, and I'm going to say fantasy. I love fantasy, but it has been very hard for me to get into in recent years, just due to the sheer page count of what we tend to think of as fantasy today. 14 volumes of 700 or 800 page novels. But we forget that it wasn't always that way. the Earthsea novels, the Elric novels. I mean, they're you can pack a lot into a few pages, and you can still get it done. So I'll say that. Number 6, Cinnamon, a cozy work about an intense subject. I'm going to preface this by saying I haven't read a lot of, and I'm interpreting this, cozy mysteries, that type of thing. My wife is the cozy mystery expert. But I would say that deliberately killing another person is pretty intense, or it should be. And I have read The Body in the Library by Agatha Christie, which is about that. But Denise, my wife, assures me that that is technically not a cozy mystery. I'll go with it anyway. Okay. Number 7. Let's see. And by the way, greetings from the home of Cliff Notes, Lincoln, Nebraska. Number 7, garlic powder. What are your thoughts on Sparknotes? I don't really have a problem with Sparknotes, as long as you use them after you've read what it is you're reading. If it's used as a jumping off point, that's great. As a before you read it cheat, I'm totally against it. Okay, number 8, Turmeric, the most yellow book you own. Okay, I searched the library. I've got Raise High the Roof Beam Carpenter, that's yellow, I guess. I've got this one, A Theft, little penguin book by Saul Bellow. And Frances Hodgson Burnett's The Secret Garden and A Little Princess and Little Lord Fauntleroy. There's a lot of yellow on there, not solid yellow, but those are my yellow books. And that's it. Okay, chili powder. Number 9, a difference-making character in a work. I've hit on Tolkien, but I will mention Gollum in Lord of the Rings. Gollum saved the day, although accidentally, when Frodo failed in his quest. And I'll also add Mr. Darcy in Pride and Prejudice. He definitely made a difference for the Bennet family, even aside from marrying Lizzie. So number 10, Cardamom, a work that directly relieves you on a bad day. I would agree that I can find some relief in The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, which has been mentioned by other booktubers, but I've already covered Tolkien quite a bit. So I'm going to say V by Thomas Pynchon. That may sound a little odd. Probably where I was at when I first read this novel, but it just has a way of making me, just get over it when I read it. Parts of it, that is. There definitely are some unfeel-good bits in that book too, but Vinnie Profane, Dewey Gland, Pig Bodine, the whole sick crew. I love those guys. They make me smile. Number 11. What is your favorite spice? Savory, garlic, red pepper, cilantro, salt. I would say probably salt. The diet that I'm on, I don't eat a lot of processed foods, so it's hard for me to get enough salt. I wake up sometimes in the night with leg cramps, so I need several different kinds of salt, potassium, magnesium, sodium, and I like it, so that's a plus. Sweet things, baking, I would say ginger, clove, something like that. Okay, so number 12, who do you tag? Well, this is another one that I jumped in late. Everybody else probably has done this already, but if you have not, you're tagged. So that's it. That is the number 30 Foodie Book Tag by Josh at the Literary Gladiators. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everyone, for listening to me, and we'll see y'all later.